This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
All right, here in a weird, twisted way is the only good news for Democrats this morning. Donald Trump last night gave a spectacular speech to a joint session of Congress. It was just phenomenal. 10 out of 10, 2 thumbs up, 5 stars. It was the best speech Donald Trump has ever given. But you know what the Democrats did? In a weird, twisted way, they stole his thunder. Yes, today, the morning after Trump's 100-minute speech before Congress, all anyone is talking about is Democrats. Yes, you did it. You stole his thunder. You became the story. Your sad, pathetic, disgusting display of classlessness, of just disrespect was just something to behold. You have reached a new low. You became the story. Yes, you, Al Green and Nancy Pelosi and Liz Warren and Ed Markey and Ayanna Pressley and Jamie Raskin. You guys, you're the story today. You were the story last night. What you did was something we have never seen before. I've watched many, many State of the Unions and joint session of Congress speeches, probably 40 of them. I've never seen this. In fact, people who've watched more than I have, Brit Hume said it. Lots of old timers are saying it has never happened. It was a display of no class like we've never seen before. It was disgusting. It was vile. It was anti-American. You should be ashamed, every single one, not just the people who walked off or held up stupid ping pong paddles or who sat on their hands for the entire night. Everybody, everyone who voted for you, everyone who supported you, everyone who aligns with you should be ashamed, should be disgusted with what we saw last night. Again, Trump killed it. He crushed it. It was just phenomenal. It was the best speech Trump has ever done. It was the best address before Congress I've ever seen. Was it the best speech a United States president's ever given? Maybe. Haven't seen them all, but it was just great. He touched on all the right note. It was the right tone. It was just defiant enough. He challenged the Democrats. He stated right off the bat that they wouldn't cheer for him no matter what. And he was proven correct shortly thereafter, when he just hit all the right tone, all the right notes, and they sat there and they said nothing. They heckled, they booed, they jeered, but they didn't cheer. They didn't stand. They didn't show any respect. And I cannot imagine being a Democrat today, being someone who voted for Al Green or Nancy Pelosi, and watching that and being proud of what you saw, being happy with what you saw. The speech is getting rave reviews, and a poll this morning on CBS poll, approval for the speech is 76% from Donald Trump.
Wow.
In the United States of America. It was, if you're being honest, I don't care who you are. If you're being honest, you have to admit he absolutely nailed it. The speechwriters today, they must be waking up with huge smiles on their faces because it was just great. And today, we're not really talking about Donald Trump. We're talking about Democrats. We're talking about the way they sat there and didn't clap and didn't stand and didn't cheer for anything for a 13-year-old kid with cancer. Now, there's a whole long list. I'm going to get to the whole list. The White House put it out, and they should, for things they didn't clap for. But the first thing they didn't clap for was Trump. It is protocol. It is tradition. It is custom that when the president walks into the chamber, you stand and clap. I mean, you don't have to go crazy, but you stand and show respect for the office. They didn't do that. Many of them didn't even show up. Some turned their backs. Some had ridiculous T-shirts on that said resist. And they held up their little ping pong paddles saying false, saying Musk steals. I mean, just save Medicaid. They look like children, spoiled brat, that spoiled little children, because that's what they are. And that was the genius of this Trump speech. It put them on their heels. It made them throw these little tantrums. Once again, Trump's got a lot going for him, but nothing is more beneficial to Trump than the pettiness of his enemies, the petulance of his adversaries. These are children. These are spoiled little brats. And today there must be millions of Americans saying, I can't support that. I'm not okay with that. How can you be? The list is long. I'm going to get to it, but I want to focus on one thing off the bat, because I know the kid, DJ Daniels, getting a lot of attention, as well he should, as well as Jocelyn Nungre's mom and Laken Riley's mom and all the people up in the gallery for whom the Democrats did not stand, did not clap. How do you do that as a human being? You see this kid, this amazing kid who was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer, was given 5 months to live. That was 6 years ago. And he's up there in his police uniform, and Sean Curran, the new head of the Secret Service, makes him a Secret Service agent. And the kid reaches out and gives him a big hug. And the Democrats sat on their hands for this. We're going to get to that, but I want to get to this first, because this tells you even more. This tells you what you really got to know. Trump last night, there were a few revelations. He did not announce a peace agreement with Ukraine, which is about the only good news for Democrats. Yes, the war will go on. You can rest easy. There will be no peace agreement signed today to end the war. So that's good. Pocahontas, you could still have hope that there'll be more dying and more killing and more carnage and more billions taxpayer dollars sent there. But Trump makes an announcement that when mentioning the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan under Biden, and he says, we caught the mastermind. We got him. This morning, Kash Patel is on an airstrip in Texas waiting for this terrorist to be extradited to the United States, where he will be arraigned, arrested, and go before an American court and be sentenced, hopefully, to death. His name is Mohammed Sharafullah. Mohammed Sharafullah is in American custody. He murdered 13 American heroes. He injured 40 more. He blew up. He designed the plan to murder Americans, and we got him. I didn't even know we knew who he was. I didn't know we were hot on his trail. Pakistan apparently cooperated. They got him in Pakistan. They're flying him back as we speak. And not one Democrat cheered. Not one Democrat applauded the arrest of a terrorist who murdered 13 Americans. How do you look yourself in the mirror? How do you consider yourself an American? You're a congressman. You're a senator, and you don't cheer for that? That is just sick. I know we talk about it all the time. Trump has broken these people, that they're consumed with their hatred for Trump, their rage, their disgust at Trump. But your president just announced that they caught a man who murdered 13 Americans, and you don't clap? I mean, even if you're thinking, I'm a Democrat, he's a Republican, I can't show any support. They arrested a guy, a murderer. He was on his way back. He's in custody. And you're not happy? That is the theme from last night. That is the takeaway. These people are so broken, so lost, so hopeless, so pathetic that they can't clap for the arrest of a terrorist. I mean, this is one of the worst people in the world. We've been talking, Joe Biden didn't talk about it, but we've been talking about these 13 people, these 13 Marines and soldiers since they were blown up at Abbey Gate 3.5 years ago. And they got the guy. And we should all be happy as Americans, but not Democrats. They're Democrats first and Americans second. They don't care about the country. They care about the party. They care about stopping the man who was up at the podium last night. Just amazing. As a reminder, in this same chamber, at this same time, 1 year ago, Joe Biden had a man arrested, Steve Nakui. His son was murdered at Abbey Gate. He showed up and he just yelled out, "Remember Abbey Gate. Remember our soldiers." And they arrested him and escorted him out of the building. 1 year later, we announced the arrest of his murderer, and we salute these heroes who died because of utter incompetence of the last administration. That is remarkable. That is the thing that we should remember, along with all the other. This performance by Trump was brilliant. I know he's a showman. I know he's the apprentice. I know he has some good people around him. I knew it would be good. I knew some of the people who were going to be there. I knew, Laken Riley's mom and Jocelyn Nuggery's mom would be there. It was better than I even imagined. There was lots of substance. There was lots of talk of the issues in the border. But the special guests, they just nailed this. Here's just a few of the things that Trump talked about and the Democrats didn't applaud. A young boy, DJ Daniels, fighting cancer. Americans joining the military in record numbers. Closing of the border. The border is closed. Record like it's never been before. They're not happy about that. Free speech. Trump mentioned free speech is back. We're ending censorship. No applause for that. Ending waste, fraud, and abuse. And Trump did a great job. We'll get to that. Running down all the waste, fraud, and abuse. Bringing manufacturing back. Major investment in the country. No applause. What else did... the return of Mark Fogel, a American held in captivity in Russia. We got him back. Didn't give up anything. His 95-year-old mother was sitting next to him. Trump told an amazing story of meeting her at Butler, Pennsylvania, just before he got shot. And he promised this woman that he would bring her son Mark back. And he did. And they didn't clap. They didn't cheer. They didn't care. You don't clap for a 95-year-old woman who thought she would never see her son again? Because Trump, that's all? They didn't clap for Stephanie Diller, whose husband, Jonathan Diller, was murdered on the streets of New York. He was a New York cop, murdered by a thug with a 20-something arrests on his rap sheet. No applause for her. That was an amazing moment. No applause for the young woman, Peyton McNabb, who was injured in a volleyball match because a boy, spiked the ball into her head. She suffered traumatic brain injury. She's sitting there in the gallery. Not a single Democrat clapped. They didn't stand for this poor woman who is still struggling from the injury. She shows up. They're disgusted. Where do you, again, we'll get to DJ Daniels. Just this incredible story. 12-year-old kid, 13-year-old kid, diagnosed with brain cancer, wants to be a cop. He's been honored by a lot of police forces as an honorary cop. He's not supposed to be alive. He's alive. He shows up. Trump calls him out. And it's just the most emotional scene. This kid's been through hell. And again, they make him a Secret Service agent. His dad holds him up. The kid hugs Sean Curran. The place goes nuts. I shouldn't say the place. Half the place goes nuts. Because Democrats can't clap for a kid with brain cancer because Trump. That is, to me, this moment is a new low. They have hit rock bottom. It was bad when that werewolf, Al Green, stood up and started screaming at the start of the speech and was escorted out. That was low. That was bad. this was worse. They sat on their hands for a kid who was battling brain cancer, who became a Secret Service agent in the moment. They sat on their hands for another kid, a high school kid, who lost his dad, who was a sheriff in LA. And Trump accepted him, admitted him to West Point last night during the speech. And Democrats didn't clap, didn't stand, didn't care. There was nothing. Trump said many, many things, many true things, many important things. Nothing was more true, more accurate than saying he could do nothing to get them to applaud, nothing to get them to approve, to smile, to care. Let's get to Nicole Wallace. I got so much to get to. We had all the highlights from Trump. We will get to that, and the lowlights from Democrats disrupting the proceedings. But I knew this would push many of these lunatics, these broken people over the edge. Nicole Wallace watched this moment with DJ Daniels, watched him get inducted into the Secret Service, watched him as his father held him up. And what did she do? She said, I hope he doesn't kill himself. Yes, I've seen this on Twitter. A lot of people saying this is the newest low point in cable news. Never have I seen anything so disgusting. And I would agree. This is one bitter, broken, ugly, vile woman. This is her reaction to watching DJ Daniels being honored before a joint session of Congress. Go ahead.
But I think this was a lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel. And I let myself feel joy about DJ. And I hope he's alive for another, 95 years, right? And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump's supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then lived to see Donald Trump pardon those people.
There's no words. No words. This is one sad, sorry. I mean, does she watch that on replay and feel good? Does she watch that and think she's making a poignant point here? I hope he doesn't kill himself. A kid who survived 6 years now with brain cancer, who is just an amazing example for the whole country. And her response is, I hope he doesn't kill himself. That is sick. These people are sick. It gets worse. It just gets worse as Trump, every day Trump is in office, they become more unhinged, as we saw from beginning to end last night. They become more consumed with hate and rage. They don't care about the country. They don't care about kids with cancer or people who lost their lives at Abbey Gate or Laken Riley. They don't care about anything that works for Trump. They hate it. They can't stand it. They can't control themselves. This is like when you get in a fight or you have a big argument and you feel yourself kind of losing control and you got to pull it back. They can't pull it back. They reach that point, that breaking point, and they just go a step further. Yeah, I hope this kid with cancer doesn't become a Capitol Hill cop and fight insurrectionists and kill himself. And no one at MSNBC says, Nicole, you gotta roll it back, man. You gotta calm down. You're losing it. Here's Rachel Maddow, who thought it was disgusting what she saw from Trump and DJ Daniels last night. Go ahead.
For the record, and this is disgusting, the president made a spectacle out of praising a young man who thus far survived pediatric cancer, as if the president had something to do with that. This was in the midst of him praising Doge. The Doge cuts, among other things, have cut off funding for ongoing research into pediatric cancer.
You better believe. Disgusting. She calls it disgusting. Every president has people in the gallery Everyone has a story to tell. She hears that story, she thinks disgusting, and then she lies about Doge cutting off cancer research. By the way, Trump went all in on Doge, and it was beautiful. I was hoping he would do this. I was hoping he would talk about all the money Democrats have wasted, or should I say laundered, through their various schemes, and he did. He went there in depth, and it was perfect. But it wasn't the highlight of the speech. I know I got lots of highlights. There was one moment that had me laugh out loud and jump out of my seat and say, wait, it wasn't in the script. He went off script briefly, and it was perfect. It was just amazing. We will get to that next, I promise, and we got lots to get to. Michelle Wu and 3 other sanctuary city mayors are before Congress, the Oversight Committee, as we speak. Let me check it out. Oh, Mayor Wu is testifying as we speak. We will check in. Maybe we'll dip into that. Oh my God, she's got the ashes on her forehead. I didn't even know she was Catholic. Maybe it's just all for show. But we will tell you about how Michelle Wu prepared for this. It is the most Democrat thing I've ever heard. She spent a lot of taxpayer money getting ready for this. We'll see how it goes. We'll get to that and much more. But first,
Excuse me.
going online without ExpressVPN is like leaving your laptop unattended at the coffee shop while you run to the bathroom. Most of the time, you're probably fine. But what if one day you come out of the bathroom and your laptop is gone? Every time you connect to an unencrypted network in cafes, hotels, airports, whatever, your online data is not secure. Any hacker on the same network can gain access to and steal your personal data, passwords, bank logins, credit cards, all of it. ExpressVPN stops hackers from stealing your data by creating a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet. Plus, ExpressVPN works on all devices, phones, laptops, tablets, and more, so you can stay secure when you're on the go. It also comes with Identity Defender, a new suite of tools to get your data removed from data brokers, alert you when your data appears on the dark web, and even insure you against data theft for up to $1 million. For me, having online identity protection like ExpressVPN is a no-brainer. I've had my share of problems with online theft before, and it's just not worth the risk. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/Gerry. That's expressvpn.com/Gerry to find out how you can get 4 extra months free. Go to expressvpn.com/Gerry. So the Democrats didn't sit on their hands, didn't stay silent the whole night, not for the entire 100-minute speech from Donald Trump. There was a moment where they cheered, and only Democrats cheered. You didn't hear Republicans. There was no cheering from the gallery. It's when Trump mentioned the war, and would the war continue to go? Would we continue to spend billions and billions on the endless, pointless, stupid foreign war in Ukraine? That made the Democrats happy. They are the party of endless war. It is just incredible. I can't imagine if you went back, if you went back 30 years and looked ahead and someone told you Democrats, far left Democrats, socialists, Bernie Sanders, Liz Warren, they would be all in on a war that costs hundreds of billions of dollars, 5,000 miles away. Republicans want it to end. They want peace. Democrats don't want it to end. They want war. And it was on display last night when Trump mentioned the war, bringing the war to an end. Again, he didn't announce a peace deal, which would have been really tough for Democrats. Peace. Ooh, they hate peace. But he did mention the war, and Democrats cheered at the thought of keeping it going and spending more and more taxpayer money. And one of the Democrats, of course, was Liz Warren. She stayed. She didn't walk out. She didn't boycott. And Trump went off script for a brief moment when he saw Liz Warren cheering for war, and it was glorious. Watch this.
Of dollars to support Ukraine's defense with no security, with no anything. you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah. You would say Pocahontas says yes.
Do they know how foolish they look? That is Liz Warren. I'll give her credit. She smiled and clapped. But she said, they say yes. Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? 1 million dead. Not enough. We want to keep it going. And Democrats say yes. It is remarkable what they support at this point. And again, Trump did a brilliant job of listing all the waste, listing all the programs they want to keep going. They want to spend your money on. He saluted Musk. Musk took a bow. It was good to see. Musk deserves as much credit as anyone. Musk is doing God's work. Musk is an American hero right now, exposing these crooks, these criminals who are taking your money and laundering it through these programs and getting their kickbacks and enriching their donors. It's the greatest scam in American history, and Musk is bringing it to light. And he appears to not be slowing down. He's just getting started. And I was hoping he wouldn't just gloss it over and say, we're wasting a lot of money on a lot of unnecessary programs overseas. But he went item by item, as well he should, because it's important. These are programs not in the United States, and they're not doing any good for anyone. These are crazy left-wing, far-left, insane programs for transgender this and climate change and just absolute waste, fraud, and abuse. And Trump had the teleprompter going, went down the list, and it was great. And including, he finished with the most important one, transgender mice, which, by the way, is true. I've seen it fact-checked. It is true. We had a program, spent millions to change the gender of mice. That's your tax money at work. Here is Trump going down part of the list of these wasteful programs. Go ahead.
$40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
It is real. It is where your money's going. And Democrats are just crestfallen. They are crushed. Their scams have been exposed by this man. He's been president for 4 years and 45 days. And this was the moment. This last night was peak Trump. This was perfect. The tone, everything. It was the material, the subject matter, the detail. A little long, always with Trump. It's always a little long, but it was spectacular. And again, today, all we're going to talk about, all we're going to hear about, all we're going to see is Democrats who couldn't applaud America. That's what they couldn't do. America, bringing manufacturing back, closing our borders, ending wars, all these America first things, and they hate it. It was just perfect. Before we move on, we got to get to the best line of the night. Again, speechwriters, whoever you are, take a bow. They had some great lines here, and Trump delivered them. Again, he didn't go off script. The contrast between that corpse who was on this stage in this spot last year, rambling and mumbling and saying Lincoln Riley because he got heckled. The contrast between that fossil and this guy, who again, he's 78 years old, but he doesn't show it. He just doesn't rest, doesn't slow down, doesn't show any sign of stopping. It's just begun. As he said right at the beginning, we've done more in 6 weeks than any president's done in 4 years or 8 years. And he said, we're just getting started. and the crowd, half the crowd, went wild. Here's perhaps the best line of the night. Go ahead.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
That is true. It was one big lie you were told for the last year from Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and the media and lots of people in Congress said, we need a deal. Why can't they sign the deal or the Senate deal? It was all a lie. They lied to you. Border crossings down 95%. And it's going to remain that way. The border is closed and Trump was right and they were lying. And they held up signs, said lie, false, fake, whatever. Held up ping pong paddles. By the way, this is a tradition that goes back, hundreds of years. Or I believe it used to be in writing. The State of the Union used to be in writing. Now, then they started making speeches. It's been many, many decades. And we've never seen behavior like we saw from the Democrats. It's never happened. They had to drag this guy, Al Green, this 77-year-old guy with a cane and hairy cheeks. Someone has to work on trimming that beard. They had to drag him out. He will be censured, Mike Johnson announced afterwards, for his behavior. And he was just the beginning. They just kept heckling and yelling. And I was wondering, would Trump respond? Whenever you see a guy make a speech or a comedian and they get heckled, generally they respond, they react. It's hard not to. Trump did an amazing job of ignoring the hecklers, of not even acknowledging them, just powering on when they would heckle and yell and scream and walk out. And Democrats afterwards were bragging about how they walked out. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to walk out. Who cares? Who cares? Walk out. So what? What does that mean? You walked out. I was disappointed in my one prediction. I said Jasmine Crockett would be the one that makes the disruption, makes the ruckus. And Jasmine Crockett, there's Al Green. He's the one screaming. Imagine voting for this guy, voting for this clown, this absolute embarrassment. He's the guy. So I lost that pool because Jasmine Crockett didn't show up. She is stealing all the thunder from the usual suspects from AOC and Ilhan Omar. Jasmine Crockett didn't show up, but she did, just as the speech was beginning, post a video. This is an actual U.S. Congresswoman. Most of the Democrats are an embarrassment, but she's top of the list. She is a U.S. Congresswoman. Here she is. Can we listen in on her performance?
You really about to do it? 40 acres and a mule. This is bigger than the music. You really about to do it? Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. Think it on it like that. Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like fuck. Mustard on a beat, bro. Deep boat in rap. He a freak though. Man down, call like Ember Lambs. Tell him breathe. Let them boys kill across. They walk around like thieves. What's up with these?
That is a congresswoman, an elected representative in the halls of Congress, putting out a TikTok video, dancing and singing. Are you proud, Democrats? I mean, I know he sucks, but like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and I don't know, they must be saying, "Lady, could you just tone it down? You've gone off the rails." And she thinks she's a star now. I mean, every interview she gives, she's dropping F-bombs and saying F Trump and F Musk, and she's a sitting member of Congress. I'm telling you, that's from Texas, by the way. She's from Texas.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad here in New England. It's bad.
When Trump walked in last night, Ed Markey and Chuck Schumer did at least stand up.
Did they? Yeah, it was great to see their faces. It was just perfect to see their faces, especially when the whole place is clapping for America, for things that are good in America. Democrats, they don't support America. They support Democrats. They support stopping Trump. That is all. That is all they care about, stopping Trump. They don't care about a terrorist being arrested who killed Americans. They don't care about young guy who lost his dad being admitted to West Point right there on the spot. Trump told him he was in. He was accepted to West Point. I was getting like hairs on my back of my neck were standing up. It was so well done. And watching, Jocelyn Nungry's mom and Laken Riley's mom, and these, you think about it. Jocelyn Nungry died because of Democrat policies. That's a fact. She died because Joe Biden opened the border and let Transgender terrorists walk in. Laken Riley died because Joe Biden opened the border deliberately, by design, opened the border, let these monsters in. They killed a 12-year-old girl, tortured her, murdered Laken Riley while she was out for a jog. And the Democrats can't stand and clap for a grieving mother. They can't stand and clap for a grieving widow whose husband, Jonathan Diller, was murdered on the streets of New York. They can't even say their names. These are people. Joe Biden, he never said Jocelyn Nungry's name. He never said Jonathan Diller. He said Lincoln Riley, not Laken, Lincoln. He didn't give a shit about any of them. They didn't matter to him. Now, Trump, say what you want about him. He understands. This is powerful. These are real victims. There's real victims of an open border, of a lawless city, of cities filled with illegal alien criminals. He understands that. He put a face on it. He put a name and a family on that whole issue. Well, it was just abstract to Democrats. Yeah, it's inhumane closing the border. Sure it is. Inhumane. Tell that to these women in the gallery who are up there weeping, who are never going to recover, who are never going to be the same, whose families were destroyed by this corrupt piece of crap, Joe Biden, who opened the border hoping it would help his party, hoping it would help Democrats win elections. And people are dead. People are dead. Families are ruined. Trump knows that. He knows that's a powerful image, a powerful narrative. And he told it to the country. And it was a great story. It was a great image. But then you have the Democrats sitting on their hands and not clapping and not cheering and not even acknowledging these women. And by the way, Democrat women, senators and congressmen wore pink and said, Trump doesn't care about women. One day after they voted unanimously in the Senate to allow men in women's sports, men in women's locker rooms, they wore pink because they're feminists who think men belong in women's bathrooms. I'm sorry, that image fails. It didn't work. You don't care about women. You clearly don't care about girls. You don't care about young Peyton McNabb, who has a permanent brain injury because she was forced to play a sport against a boy, a powerful, strong boy. Trump just nailed it. And on this, I couldn't be happier. The whole transgender issue, he doesn't hold back at all. He says men, not trans women or biological men. He says men. And he said my favorite line of the night. I don't even know if you have it, but it's from our friend Billboard Chris. He says, there is no child born in the wrong body. There is nothing more cruel and heartless than telling a kid that he was born in the wrong body and he needs surgery and drugs to fix him. It's sick. It's cruel. It's inhumane. That's the Democrat position. You, son, because you don't whatever, like you don't like sports and you wear pink or you play with a Barbie, you're in the wrong body. We got to get you to a doctor. Trump said no more sex change surgeries for children. And the place stood and applauded. Almost all, not the Democrats. They think kids are born in the wrong body. Trump just crushed it with that, and I applaud him. He holds nothing back. That's what's beautiful about it. He doesn't couch it. He's not concerned with what are the Democrats going to say? What's the media going to say? What will Nicole Wallace think of me? He doesn't care. He's never facing the voters again. He doesn't care what they think, what the media says about him, what the Democrats think about him. He's just moving forward with an American first agenda, a common sense agenda, and it was never more clear than it was last night. All right, we're keeping tabs on the hearing before the Oversight Committee. We're going to see how our girl does, our teen mayor, Michelle Wu. We'll tell you how she prepared. It's just, I'm still trying to get my mind around this. How Michelle Wu, a Harvard grad, a mayor of a major American city, had to go before Congress and answer questions about her policy. And she needed a team of lawyers, and she spent a fortune to get ready to answer questions. What does that tell you? She's not real comfortable, not real confident in her position. We'll get into that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
All right, small business owners, listen up. If you're tired of losing money to credit card processing fees, we've got something you need to hear. With 24/7 payments, you can eliminate up to 99% of those fees thanks to their fee elimination program. Here's how it works. You pass the processing fees on to customers who pay with credit cards, and in return, you can offer them a discount for paying with cash or debit. It's a simple, effective, and fully compliant way to save thousands every month. Right now, 24/7 payments is switching over 250 businesses every month to this program, and they can have you set up in less than 24 hours. Call 855-504-0799 today or visit them on the web at 247payments.com. That's the numbers 247payments.com. Are your loved ones aging? Has walking become difficult for your parents, your grandparents? It's tough. I've been there. I know lots of you have been there too. Stairs can often be a challenge for them. It's also a significant risk of falling. Well, Lifeway Mobility, one of the largest providers of accessibility solutions, offers stair lifts, wheelchair ramps, home elevators, transfer aids, and bath safety solutions to improve safety, independence, and quality of life at home. Most of their solutions are made in the USA, and they provide professional installation and service. Gain peace of mind and help loved ones stay safe at home. Schedule a free consultation when you call Lifeway Mobility at 888-780-7923. They have locations across the U.S. with showrooms for you to see and test their products. They're also rated the best stair lift company by the National Council on Aging and by U.S. News, and they have over 6,000 five-star reviews. Call 888-780-7923 or visit lifewaymobility.com for your free consultation. That's 888-780-7923. You know, a couple more things before we get to Michelle Wu and the other crazy sanctuary city mayors who are testifying as we speak. Lots of people commenting about the big upgrade behind Trump because Nancy Pelosi was no longer there. We didn't get to see her rip up a speech. Instead, we saw her in the audience looking like she's 1,000 years old. She couldn't stop struggling with her dentures. She had a cane, which many people theorize was actually a flask. Could be. I don't know. Can't confirm or deny. But an even bigger upgrade behind Trump was J.D. Vance. I cannot believe Mike Pence was actually vice president. What a squish. J.D. Vance looked like he was ready to get down and kick Al Green's ass. J.D. Vance is the perfect successor, the perfect Robin to Trump's Batman. I think of 3 more of these from Trump, and then it's time for J.D. to take the big stage, and I look forward to that. He is just killing it. I love what I'm seeing from J.D. Vance and Mike Johnson. It's a huge upgrade from seeing Nancy Pelosi back there. And after last night, I feel good about, it's a long way off, about 2026, because I can't imagine anybody voting for the party of Al Green and Jasmine Crockett and Ayanna Pressley and Liz Warren. Can't imagine it. And one last thing, Trump went through the list of people who are still on the Social Security rolls, and they're 100 years old, 150 years old. And he mentioned one guy's 360 years old. Democrats hate that. They don't care about corruption and waste. They want to keep it going. And he looks at Bobby Kennedy, says, "Boy, I think our country's healthier than we thought, Bobby." Great line. I'm not sure if that was in the script or he ad-libbed, but that was a great line. And I love just seeing all the cabinet members. He calls out Rubio and Pete Hegseth, and all of them look like they're ready for action. And then I get up this morning, and Kash Patel's at an airport in Dallas arresting the terrorist, saying, "Whoa, wasn't he just in D.C.? These people are tireless. They're like Trump. They're not sleeping. They're not resting. They're out there just getting things done." And it's great to see. And they're getting this done right now. They're calling out these menaces to society, these sanctuary city mayors. Brandon Johnson is testifying right now, the guy in Chicago who's actually worse than Lori Lightfoot, who's got a 6% approval rating. Michelle Wu has been testifying, Eric Adams, and they're getting grilled. And this is just an amazing story. I'd still try to, this is from CVB in Boston. Michelle Wu prepared extensively to give a congressional testimony Wednesday at a hearing where she's expected to be challenged by Republicans over the city's policy to not cooperate with federal enforcement actions. Wu's prep sessions, including staff from her office, the city's law department, the Boston Police Department, senior advisors, and members of her cabinet. Additionally, the city has retained law firm Cahill, Gordon, and Reindel at a rate of $950 an hour. So you have a mayor who went to Harvard, got elected, purports to be smart and capable. The taxpayers of the city are spending $650,000 to prepare her to answer questions. How is this acceptable? How is this? These people are just, they don't care. They know that their electorate are stupid or racist or sexist, and they feel secure and they could piss away taxpayer money no matter what. So a mayor of a medium-sized city can't prepare with her staff, the cops, her own city lawyers, needs to hire an outside firm for $650,000. And that's okay? What's the ethics on that? I mean, this is the best example yet of why we need Trump, why we need Doge. The people in charge don't give a damn about the taxpayer money. How come she can't just answer questions? Can we listen to a little bit of Michelle? Here she is testifying right now.
They know they can call 911 when they need help, or if they have information to solve a crime and police need that help, that they feel comfortable in doing so. And so our policy in Boston is that regardless of your background or immigration status, you have access to our libraries. We want you to take your kids to school. We want you to be part of our community. And also, regardless of immigration status, if you commit a crime, if you do harm in the community, you will be held accountable.
It is critical to the safety of Americans. Cities have the ability to decide what is in the best interest of their people. Mayors and local enforcement know their city.
Another bright light in the Democrat Party. Well, maybe we'll get back to her if she actually faces real questions from a Republican. But it is just, it's amazing what we're seeing right now. We're seeing these last holdouts. I mean, the country is applauding Trump and Tom Homan and their efforts to get illegal alien criminals off the street. And you have these holdouts, these stalwarts, these far left lunatics. Homan pointed out the other day he counted 9 child rapists in Massachusetts, many in Boston, and the local authorities aren't cooperating, aren't helping him round them up. How many people who live in Boston support that? How many law-abiding citizens say, good, we want child rapists on our street? Oh, this will be good. Here's Jim Jordan addressing a question, I think.
Thank you, Congressman. He is a individual that was released from the county jail on Friday in the city and county of Denver.
Question the mayor of Denver. Another whack job. I don't know. She's not prepared for this. She's lived her life in a little bubble, Northeast, and lived in worked in and went to Harvard and Boston. No one questions her. No one asks her any tough questions. And she's actually got to face a tough question. She doesn't know what to do. But we'll be watching that. Hopefully someone will make her really uncomfortable at some point today, because it has to end. And hopefully Tom Homan's on his way. I've had enough promises, Tom. Time to get here. Time. Ironhead made you a lasagna. We're ready. We need you here. We need one of these public officials, one of these mayors, to be arrested. And I'm hoping the first one is Mayor Wu. It's going to happen, by the way. Some elected official is going to get arrested for obstructing federal authorities. And I'm hoping it's probably going to be, Brandon Johnson, that lunatic in Chicago. But it'll happen. And you know what? Law-abiding people will be thrilled. They'll just be giddy. All right, do we have time?
He's got 3 different cheeses, Tom. Come on.
Yeah, you're not going to have like the meatless or anything, or the gluten-free or anything, are you?
No. You go meat sauce, ricotta.
Tom Homan last night looked so tired. I love him. He's
really
a man, but he just looked worn out. He just must be grinding so hard, and he must not be sleeping at all. I love the man. I'm looking forward to him coming to Boston. The weather's getting warmer, Tom. We need you. Let's get here. All right. It's been a tough time for most of the mainstream media, and it's getting tougher. Stephen A. Smith went on with The View. Do we have time to get to Stephen A.?
Always.
Always. And you know what? I have mixed feelings about Stephen A. Keep in mind, he's making the rounds now, and he's found Jesus. He's a Trump supporter, sort of. And he's calling out the Democrats at every turn. He's going on all these shows, and he's making news as he always does. He's never boring, I'll give him that. But he voted for Kamala. I mean, I know people are mentioning that he might run for office. I'm sorry. If you voted for Kamala, you're an idiot. We knew all what's happening right now. We knew it was going to happen. We knew what Trump was going to do. We knew what wouldn't have changed if Kamala had won, as Trump pointed that out. None of this corruption that Musk has exposed, none of it would have happened. We knew there'd be no peace in Ukraine. We knew there'd be no closed border. We knew there'd still be 200,000 people coming over the border every month if Kamala had won. And Stephen A. voted for that. So I'm sorry. I don't think he's a real, genuine political candidate. Not going to happen. But he does love the attention, and he went on with Joy Behar, who is as broken and is just as sick as any Trump-hating Democrat out there. Not very bright. And she points out Trump doesn't have a mandate. By the way, who cares? He's president. He's got the Senate. He's got the House. I don't care what you think is a mandate. That's what Al Green was yelling, by the way. He disrupted the State of the Union or the joint session of Congress to yell, you have no mandate. That's subjective, whether it's a mandate or not. That's what he yelled. He didn't yell, whatever, save abortion or something. He yelled, you have no mandate. That's why he got kicked out of the chamber and why he's getting censured, to yell, you have no mandate. What an idiot. Anyway, speaking of idiots, here's Joy Behar going at it with Stephen A. about whether or not there's a mandate for Donald Trump. Go ahead.
In office for 6 weeks. Seems like 6 years, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And he's been going around with his cronies touting his so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%, one of the smallest ever. And he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't mind the question, but let me be very clear. I'm no supporter of Trump. I'm a supporter of truth and the facts. And here's the facts. The man won every swing state. He increased in terms of his voter turnout in his favor from the standpoint of blacks, Latinos, and young voters. He increased his numbers in that regard from 2020. 89% of the counties shifted to the right. That's a mandate. We can sit up there and play around all we want to. In 2020, Trump didn't win the popular vote. He didn't win the electoral college vote. A matter of fact, the Republicans hadn't won the popular vote, if I remember correctly, since 2004. But they did this year. So 20 years after they last won a popular vote, they won the popular vote. They won the electoral college vote. The man won every swing state. And on top of it all, 89% of the counties shifted gears. I don't understand how people can look at that and say, there's no mandate. There's a mandate.
What's a different definition of a mandate, I guess?
But the problem is that if you're the Democratic Party and you lost 49.8% to 48.3%, and you're looking at that 1.5% dip, that's an excuse for you to say, what we did really wasn't that bad.
Some people didn't
we should continue to do that. No, don't continue to do that. Find a new strategy.
That is good. You know, he's good. But again, he voted for Kamala. So take it with a grain of salt. All right. I got to get back to watching Michelle Wu hopefully melt down in front of the Oversight Committee. By the way, all those people you saw who didn't stand for Laken Riley's mom, didn't stand for Jocelyn Nungari's mom, didn't stand for young DJ Daniels, they took a knee for George Floyd in that same chamber. They took a knee for 8 minutes and 46 seconds for a drug-addled criminal, George Floyd. That's what matters to them. George Floyd matters. Laken Riley, Jocelyn Nungary, DJ Daniels, Jonathan Diller, they don't matter. Tough night for Democrats. This is going to leave a mark. This is going to be what people remember. And they're going to have to live with it. They're going to have to explain it. Why didn't you stand up and clap for a kid with cancer? Explain that. Good luck. All right, that will do it for this day, this great Wednesday morning in America. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
Thank you.
Oh, my God. Is she crazy?
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Oh, too many thank yous.